So, Branko, we should probably back up a little bit, but the president, in trying to justify his tepid condemnation for fascists and white supremacists, was that there was a supposed contingent of what he called the alt left that was equivalent in his mind. And though he didn't even say the alt right, he wouldn't say the alt right. The press did. But let's talk about that term and from whence it came, because it's obviously there has been an increase in the support that policies left of what and to a certain extent the Democratic Party, I guess, center has been moving left, but there has been a growth in support of leftist policies in this country. There's been more left organizing. Where did this term alt left first come from? And let's talk about its accuracy and what it's supposed to mean.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I mean, if you go onto Twitter and you look up alt left, you don't really see it coming out as a term before around the middle of August last year, and around the time when it really kind of came into vogue was when I think there were a bunch of articles about the emergence of the alt right. And what the alt right was. I believe Hillary Clinton did a speech where she sort of connected Donald Trump and his support to the alt right. And around this time, you see people actually you start seeing conservatives saying, basically, oh well, if they say the alt right, but what about the alt left? And you see these memes where they're talking about the violent alt left and how there's this contingent on the left that is just as bad as the alt right. So it starts actually mostly from conservatives who want to sort of basically create an equivalence between what's happening in sort of far right forums and that kind of thing, and basically just run of the mill Clinton supporters. They say that Clinton is leading a contingent of the alt left. And at the same time, as much as it sort of becomes a useful term for for the far right, it also becomes a useful term for sort of centrist Democrats or liberals who aren't particularly happy with the kind of left-wing criticism of Hillary Clinton and various other sort of centrist Democrats. And so you start to see, I think Josh Marshall of Talking Points Memo, he does a piece where he talks about the alt left, and that's just as much of a problem as the alt right. You see people like Joy Reid and MSNBC starts using the term, and this is again all in August, and then from around there, it's sort of just been used more and more. Again, mostly on Twitter, and it's kind of used as an epithet, against a whole wide variety of individuals that don't really, when you look at them, there isn't really that much of a common thread. But it's the one thing that sort of they all have in common is they're all critical of, particularly Hillary Clinton and the direction of the Democratic Party. And then you have that piece, I think it was in March, the Vanity Fair piece that talks about, it's time to talk about the alt left. And that lumps in a whole bunch of people, they all happen to be men. And so, the idea there is this is a misogynistic, racist movement. It doesn't have to be said outright, but that is the kind of reason why the alt label is being slapped on there.
It's fascinating because when Donald Trump speaks of the alt left, or when the right speaks of the alt left, of course, they include into it Black Lives Matter, which cuts against the way that those, I guess, and I would call them, centrist partisans, really, I guess, is sort of coming from the centrist or right, the conservative part of the Democratic Party. or maybe the establishment. I mean, give me a sense of like what you think, to the extent that you can find a common thread amongst those people who use that term, not those on the right who use it as a way of saying that anti-fascists are the equivalent of fascists, because I guess presumably the word fascism is in both their labels. But what is the common thread there? I mean, it seems to be just those who are afraid of an ascendant left within and without the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's the same. It's an evolution of what was happening in the Democratic primary, where you saw the label of Bernie Bro being thrown around. And obviously there are Bernie Sanders supporters who were belligerent and harass people on Twitter, but just as much as any other political fans. But this whole thing kind of took off, and it became this idea that Bernie Sanders supporters were uniquely male, white, misogynistic, and racist, and it became this kind of cudgel that centrist Democrats, establishment people, kind of Democratic loyalist pundits and that kind of thing, they started using that against anyone who was a Bernie Sanders supporter, and that sort of continued today. And this alt-left label is really an evolution of that. It's a way to sort of discredit anyone who believes in policies that are to the left of the Democratic Party, or who criticize the Democratic Party, and it's a way of saying, well, these people are they're motivated by less than virtuous motives. And the people that use it, they tend to be sort of, I mean, again, Joy Reid is one. She was using alt left, right up until the killing of Heather Heyer in Charlottesville. And the irony is that the people on the front lines of Charlottesville, a lot of them, the DSA was there. Heather Heyer herself, if you go on her Facebook page, as her cover photo, she had a couple of Bernie Sanders 2016 images. So she was a Bernie Sanders supporter. A lot of these people that were there would have been considered by these people, quote unquote, alt-left. And yet now they're sort of being treated like heroes. And the amazing thing is, actually, it's still, the whole slur is still being used, even past what happened, despite the fact that it was people on the left who were on the front lines and getting injured and everything. It's still kind of being lobbed because it's a useful, I suppose, epithet. But I mean, the problem with the term is that it's essentially meaningless. You kind of alluded to that. No one really knows what exactly it's supposed to refer to, because there's always a shifting sort of set of parameters around it. And I mean, there was actually an article from the New York Times recently.
Well, Branko, hold on. Let's take a break, and then we come back. I want you to give us a sense of what that term's supposed to mean. We will juxtapose it with the alt-right, and I want to get your take on whether or not those people who were wielding that term to try and slice off these people, we got to take from the coalition on the left, which it seems to me is the project. We got to take a break. We got to be right back. Ring of Fire Radio. I'm Sam Seder.